Talking about death or grief can be hard for some people. When someone we know is dying to be heard, can we be the listener that they need? So to answer this question, or to generate some kind of conversation about these topics, please keep in touch via our social media campaign.
Talking about death or grief can be hard for some people. If someone we know is dying to be heard, can we be the listener they need? It's hard to talk about death, dying and grief, yet it's important. Discussing and sharing our wishes makes it easier for our family and friends when we are gone. If we can't talk about death, it's harder to support a grieving friend. All of us will need someone to talk to about death. Every conversation needs two parts, one to talk and one to listen. If someone we know comes to us to talk about their will or funeral plans, or just the fears or concerns they have about end-of-life care, we need to be there to listen to them. It's too easy just to brush it off. You may not be ready to talk about death, but we all owe it to others to be willing to listen.
A conversation about death can emerge from anywhere. You might be discussing the recent death of a friend or a celebrity or someone on TV. It might be a planned chat or it might just happen. You don't need to be the expert. Just listen to the cues and let the conversation flow. Do you have 5 minutes? Something's been on my mind. Talking about death and grief can be hard, and for many people it takes time to be ready to talk about their own plans, concerns, or just to ask questions. If we don't listen when they are ready to talk, the chance might be gone.
So I've got some tips on how to be a good listener. Be patient. It might take a while to get to the point. Pay attention. You don't need to remember everything said, but you need to give it your full attention. There will probably be a lot going on in the mind of the person speaking. It may be very uncomfortable for them to hear themselves discussing these things. Be affirming. Let them know that you want to listen and that it's okay for them to discuss these things. You don't need to be the expert or to be able to answer the questions. There's lots of good information available and support from services like ours. Often, people just want to unload their thoughts or just think out loud. The actual stuff they want to talk about or the questions they want to ask may come later. This isn't an interview. You aren't trying to get the information out of them. Let them work through things. Don't judge. Everyone responds to death and grief differently. But it is okay to steer people towards reliable sources of information or advice if you think they may need it. Look after yourself. Some of this might be upsetting for you. Make sure you have some means to process it all after. Moreover, it might prompt you to want to talk about your own end-of-life plans and who will your listener be.
A good question to ask at any point is, what's important to you? Asking this can help steer the conversation onto practical ground and give the talker something to focus on. We're all different, and there are no right or wrong ways to cope with death or grief. What matters is that what we do and what happens to us as we are dying and after our deaths reflects our wishes. Asking what's important can be a good way to get to the core of the issue. Once that's clarified, any further detail can be added later. So one of the things during the COVID-19 pandemic is that a lot of us have been questioning our own mortality. And what are those things that are making us and those around us dying to be heard? So is it, for example, putting our house in order, getting our finances sorted, making sure our will is in place, lasting power of attorney, for example? Or is it picking up on cues from others about knowing what their wishes and preferences are? And if their health deteriorated, would they prefer to stay at home or go somewhere else? So these are the kind of issues that are really important